there's not a more effective, efficient pattern of communication that's available to speak a true voice than podcasting on the planet right this very minute. Nothing close.
Right. Agreed.
This is your material. It's not about to get canceled. It's not about to get censored. You're not being monitored. Because look, podcasting offers a possibility of delivering that true voice into a set of airwaves. And then actually earmarking it for a group of people who are really curious and interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
You can explore, you can create, you can teach, you can learn, you can converse. You know, you can discover while you're on podcasting, and you can even, I don't know, make friends, make money. You can make a name for yourself, and you get to do it from your own basement if you want.
Yeah. So true.
It's
true.
Killer, man.
Especially now. It's cool. It's even cooler now, Fred, to do it from home and not have to have a fancy setup or background because of the pandemic. It's like you have permission to be at home and throw up your kitchen background or whatever else it is you have surrounding you. And people are going to be like, fantastic. What you got for me?
Exactly.
Yeah. It doesn't matter at all.
Well, look, in the thing that it's fun, it's easy, and you can take on really powerful things, or you can take on really silly things, or you can take on things that are, you know, scary, or you can take on things that are just superficial. You can do whatever you want. And it's just a place where there are so many podcasters out there, but not many who are doing it right. And, you know, not many who are distributing and promoting their podcast so it is landing in the proper ears. But done right, my goodness, the capacity to very rapidly become someone who's making a difference in the world, which most of us really want to be, is so excellent. And, you know, you just surround yourself with a group of cool podcasters and off you go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think I read, was it yesterday? I think actually I was reading some stats on the podcast, total amount of podcast shows. If I remember correctly, I have to cross-reference the data, which was 2013, 12 or 13, maybe 14, there was like 60,000 podcast shows. And then up until, I think, was it the year before, somewhere in 2019 or 20, I went to like 2 million. It was
2 million is the number I heard.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. I mean, but that's still so fresh in the game, right? I mean, that's like an early number there. But so like, for example, I'm with you 1000%. And I can remember back to my first day podcasting, I put a cup in the middle of a table that was sticking out with my iPhone, the speaker out, little app that was recording a group conversation around a table. I was terrified, like you said, leading it, figuring out how to control it. They didn't want to talk very much. I was like, oh crap. There are real people out there that have a real strong desire to want to get their voice out, but that does not keep them from being afraid or nervous about how they sound, or not feeling good enough about what their voice and their message means. So what do you suggest to people in terms of getting over that? Because of course, everybody yearns for that on the inside. I want to share my story. I want to tell the world what I believe. So that's the first part of that. So segment that. And then the other part is the person that wants to do it, but also has a job, or they're concerned, like you said, about saying the wrong thing and risk losing some security or some stability, so that then they can't provide for their family, or they have no place to go after that, which are very real scenarios right now, right? So both sides, you know, maybe answer one and then the next, and then let's see how that goes.
Okay, yeah. So in the first question, you know, you have, you know, people who really want to get their message out, but they don't know how to do it. Or they're, you know, what my friend and I call it is someone who says they want a podcast, but they don't really want a podcast, you know? So like, they're like, you really want to get your voice out, but in the end, all things considered, you'd just rather stay quiet another day. And, you know, it was usually with very good reason. You know, there's someone in your family or a friends, or like you said, an employer or something. And if you said your true voice, you could risk your reputation and risk losing things. But the thing is, you know, we protect ourselves by speaking our untrue voice. And we still get thrown off the island.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the
You
truth?
still get ostracized.
Yeah.
You still get canceled.
Yeah.
Like you tried to lie your way out of it and you still got censored. So it's not like speaking an untrue voice is truly a way to protect yourself. If it was, I think I would tell people keep being untrue. There's no reason to be true. But there is good reason to be true, because once you're true, then you've laid that out and you can keep going forward. You might be ostracized. You might be mangled up. You might be canceled or censored. You might be nullified. Someone might get really angry with you. You might really disappoint a crew.
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to humanity, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just welcome to humanity. And so what do we do at True Voice Podcasting? We really dedicate almost every session. It's a 13-week course, the main flagship course. And every week we spend a good amount of time looking at what's in the way of us, who we are now, and what our voice could be. We say, you know, we create a safe environment amongst the participants and amongst the co-leaders, me and my friend Sean. And in that space where safety resides, people get an opportunity to actually practice being their true voice. It's amazing what emerges.
Yeah.
People start saying shit they've never said in their life that's been there the whole time.
Yeah. You're like, there you are. I knew you were in there.
Exactly.
Like, thank you for revealing yourself.
Exactly. Thank you for being kind enough for having us actually see who you really are underneath there. And we can tell. We can tell you're no longer wearing that armor, that veneer. So we spend a lot of time with that. You know what, though? Even at the end, as the course ends, we're just finishing up cohort, you know, so we're 12 and a half weeks into a 13-week cohort. And, you know, I'm noticing even as the course ends and these people are ready to be launched out into being podcasters, the fear again is constricting and contracting them, like it does for me and you, by the way. I don't know about you, but before every podcast, I got some jitters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially if I'm, you know, if there's some degree of gravity that I've put to it, maybe there's a time constraint, or maybe it's an iconic guest I have, or maybe, you know, those kind of like really trying to make a difference to a big downline or something. Then I get.
So you're saying that I'm the iconic
You
guy, right?
You're all three of those things. Yeah, you're all three. I think that goes. You and your audience knows I was talking about you the whole time.
Yeah. Thanks, man. I just wanted to make sure you said that out loud, so I had it. I had it recorded.
It's important that you hear it twice, I think, so you can make sure that I was talking about you the whole time. And I think that's great that you asked for me to do that again.
Yeah. Hey, third time's a charm, though. Please.
Yeah, no, you're the icon. I think everyone here knows that. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no, you know, Always on the Grow podcast, and many of us can't even take another breath without at least knowing there's another Always on the Grow podcast coming. I know that I'm like that, and probably all your listeners are.
Yeah. You're the man. You're just Fred's the man, by the way, folks. He's just the man. By the way, this is my 5th podcast scheduled today. 2 didn't show. This is the 3rd that I actually have done. You just what a great way to finish the day. I think it's awesome. Yeah, my man.
So the next thing you're talking about is it's like, what happens if, you know, I'm too busy? You know, I'm too busy. I got a job. I got things I could lose. What happens if I say the wrong thing and my boss hears me talking and saying that I love the Red Sox when really he's a huge Yankees fan? Or I love Michigan. He's like a huge Buckeye fan.
Mm-hmm.
He said, whoa, I didn't know you were a Michigan fan, dude. I guess you're fired. You know, I didn't, or, you know, and you know, I'm using a really, what do you want to say? Like a benign example, but you know, there's some things out there where there's a fair amount of what do you want to call it? Like divergence, you know, a fair amount of division going on in our community. If you believe one thing about something or another thing about something.
Yeah.
And once you believe that, like you, even with me and you know, we got to know that in the next sentence, even though we're having such a good time, either of us could drop a bomb in the next second. And then we would say, I really like that guy until he said that. Now I don't ever want to see his ass again. One sentence can create that.
Yeah.
I thought he was cool. And then he said that. Now I don't even want to hear another word he has or has to say about anything.
Got to be a boundary with that, though. I think there's certain things that are categorized, Fred, as like places you don't go. Like, for example, and this is going to sound really crazy because we're actually talking about this. Like, if you were to say, you know, I prefer to go out and sex traffic women, I'd be like, whoa, dude, that's not okay, because that is not okay, I don't think, in any case. But if you were like, dude, you know, fuck the Yankees, I was a Boston Red Sox fan, I'm like, cool, dude. I was like, great, you have an opinion. Like, that's awesome, right? So I think that there are categories with areas that sort of maybe have a boundary that we can't, not that we can't talk about it, but if you were presenting yourself as somebody that was, you know, sort of a criminal or maybe,
I hear you.
rogue and breaking the law. Do you see where I'm going with that sort of idea right
I
there?
more than know where you're going with that.
Okay.
So there is, you could say, you think there's some easy ones, like Holocaust or, sex trafficking or, you think there's some that are really easy. And I suppose there are. You're not supposed to get on the air and say, yeah, I'm a pro, I'm pro sex trafficking.
Right.
It's not going to work for any
Yeah.
population.
Yeah.
Except for the population that it would work for.
Right. Which are the only other ones.
And it would work for them.
Yeah.
It would work for them. They'd be like, dude, finally one of us is talking their shit. Finally, someone is finding their true voice. That's what they'd be thinking.
And that goes to show you how a radical thought process for some people is, because there are, in fact, people out there like that, by the way.
Dude, it's the number one industry in the freaking world.
Yeah.
There's not just a few of them.
Yeah, a lot.
There's a lot of them, and some of them but you don't know that you know them.
Wow. Yeah, that's distasteful.
And you know what? And I'll tell you what, and I'm not promising this, and this is a delicate topic, and you see, I'd rather talk about Red Sox Yankees because it's the same topic without that level of risk, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You go Red Sox Yankees rather than sex traffickers, anti-sex traffickers. But what's interesting, if you can even imagine, is if you can back up far enough to get the world of how the hell does that person think that this is not only okay, but what they want to do to spend their time with. Like, what the F happened?
Right.
To have this dude talk that shit. If you can back off far enough to actually listen to even if you think he's just a flat out goon Satan, there's some real value in that and how you deal with your next human. If you write them off totally because they have a view on something that just doesn't work in your paradigm, the loser there without question is you.
Dude, that's a profound point. And that's going to disturb some people, but I get it because you're leading with, regardless of what they believe or what they contribute to, the concept is to back off of it and have ownership and control of how you interpret things, regardless of what they're doing to some extent, right? So like
pretty much
it's like removing the judgment gene and the idea that that's wrong. Why? Because you said so, to some extent. I mean, that's how I take it a little bit. I totally understand where you're coming from with that, and I fully get it too.
Well, here's the thing: you can believe it's wrong, and I'm not telling you to start believing that it's right.
Right.
I'm not even telling you for 1 second to believe for 1 second just because you got a dude over there causing genocide that it's worth giving him time, or worth like accepting what he's. I'm not saying that. But what else are you going to do? If you just reject everything he's saying, there's no value in that either. So, but if you can learn about humanity now by listening to those people that are flat out total opposite, like, adversaries to you, like juxtapose, like really just the opposite of who you are. If you can walk through the world and at least give yourself a chance to hear where the hell they're coming from. Just a chance. I'm no good at it either, by the way. I'm not good at it. I have, there's some shit you could say right now. And I just, oh man. Oh wow, I really thought he was cool. And then he said that.
Yeah.
Now I think he's sort of cool as long as you don't ask him about anything like that.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can figure this out. Then let me
There's some of those things, I mean, it's like, so it's the divisive nature of some of the topics that are now swamping our world allows for that. So, and whether it's climate control, even, as abortion or whatever these topics are, or the virus or the vaccines, of course, or if you talk about racism or sex trafficking, these things that are so loud, and good people take my side. it's obviously the opposite, actually. I take the side because I see that's where good people go.
Right.
I want to be with the good people. So, the good people, they say this about that. I don't even know shit about that, but I know that the good people say this about that. So therefore, I'm going to say this about that too. How do I know? Because good people say this shit about that. And I want to be with the good people. What I want to say about that, Manny, is that is humanity. There's nothing bad or wrong about that. But there's an opportunity to speak a true voice too, not just the prevailing conversation. And in that, there is massive power and freedom waiting for everybody to speak your true voice and then follow whoever you want.
Yeah.